diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. Jet, we Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Rick flaring, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring, sun up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at. No cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty back with another one, man. Hope you all are having a wonderful Monday, man. Happy March 31st, Monday at 1 something. All right, listen. It's been a hectic week for me. I went down to Maryland, picked up my mom, brought her back. You know what I'm saying? She's kicking with me at the crib right here up in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Mom Dukes, who's probably not watching the show, but watching the show because she's like she hears me yell, so she's like, I don't need to watch the show. I can hear you from downstairs. All that extra stuff, right? But that being said, so it's been crazy, man. You know, kids, mom, stuff like that. So shout out to that. All right, Monday. Now, I really didn't want to listen. First of all, let me make this disclaimer because some people are very sensitive, right? But I got to make this disclaimer. What I'm going to say today is for entertainment purposes only. Like, I'm not calling shots at anybody. Like, if you know me, like, if I'm cool with you, I'm cool with you. I'm gonna say what I gotta say because, I mean, I'm not scared to get in the kitchen and cook somebody up at the same time, right? So, you know, the rule is if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. But, you know, listen, I've done this long enough. I understand how the game goes, right? So for me, it's like this. I'm saying this. I got a rant to get out. I got a lot of stuff to get off my chest today. But I don't want anybody to take it personally, like it's like a shot at them because, you know, people love like, oh man, you're a shock jock and, you know, or you're this and you're that. So I don't want nobody to get like uber sensitive, you know what I'm saying? So, but this is for entertainment, but I do feel what I'm saying. So you gotta make that disclaimer with people nowadays because people they uber sensitive, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like my wife always like, your sensitivity levels and other people's sensitivity levels are not the same, so you have to be very mindful. You know, she get all therapist on me, so let me just make that disclaimer first and foremost. But I do got some shit to say. That's just... All right, I got some stuff to say. Now, before I get into today's rant, right? I want to bring this up. I do not understand how this Bama has not been offered a job in the HBCU arena. Like, I don't understand. I truly don't. And first of all, let me say this. We should have beat South Carolina. I want to be, but Maryland had it. We had it. The Maryland girls had it. We had it. It was right in our hand, and we dropped the ball. That really hurt. I knew the boys were going to lose, but the women, we had it, and we dropped right. Boy, it was right there in our fingertips. Anyway, somebody got to make this make sense to me. You're telling me that with all the bad coaching that some of these HBCU coaches have, you telling me that you can't bring in an Antonio Cromartie to be a DB coach? I mean, goddamn, like, for real, I don't even need him to be a head coach. The Bama said looking for an opportunity. Like, an opportunity means DB coach, you know what I'm saying? DB assistant, all that. Come on, man. Y'all telling me y'all can't find no space or opportunity for Antonio Cromartie to be on your staff? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like the person, he took an internship at St. Augustine, the DB grad. He was a DB grad assistant coach at Texas A&M. I mean, give the man a chance. It's Antonio Cromartie. I mean, dang. I come on, man. Like, Antonio Cromartie was that guy, number 31. Like, let's not play these games like Antonio Cromartie was not that guy. And to have him on the market when you can slide him into a DB position, a defensive, maybe a defensive assistant staff or somebody. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's expensive. I really don't know. I wouldn't think he'll be too expensive because he is trying to build his resume up. But I mean, opportunity is an opportunity. So shout out. I mean, come on, man. Y'all can give Cromartie an opportunity, man. Give Cromartie an opportunity. I shout out to you, Antonio. I would love to have you on the channel, by the way. Let me say this. I'm gonna get back to the Maryland thing. How did Maryland not have it when we were up we were up in the fourth quarter, like the last 5 minutes of the game? We was up the whole fourth quarter. And then Flawali went stupid and just went like straight Allen Iverson / Dwayne Wade on us and just killed us down the stretch. The last 1 minute stretch, 2 minute stretch, she just absolutely killed us. But I mean, Maryland was doing work. Okay, let's not play like Maryland wasn't doing work. We were doing work. And then Flawali does, and it was downhill from there. It was just absolutely downhill from there. So, it happens, man. It happens. But I'm proud of my Maryland girls. Shout out to Terps. You know what I'm saying? They represented really well. So shout out to them. Now let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. I might do that. You know what I'm saying? I might do that. She different. That girl different. Damn, that girl different. That girl so cold. That girl so goddamn cold. Let's get into it. Now, if you look real closely, there might be some people you see. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Banks. You know what I'm saying? You know, he always going to be riding with Morgan through and through. I got a MEAC crash out, right? I got a MEAC crash out. You got to give me some tape. You got to give me some time. You got to give me some space. You know what I'm saying? Let this breathe because I ain't talking no commissioner stuff today. We talking straight football today, all right? It's about that time. It's about that. It's getting to that season. You know, spring practice is in the air. You know what I'm saying? Just let me breathe on this one, right? Let me breathe on this one. So, first of all, that shit was like 3 hours long. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. This shit was 3 hours long. I couldn't stay up for 3 hours. Like, you know, my attention span is really bad. So, but I got the episode linked in the description if you want to go watch and see what they said and, you know, give them and support the channel and stuff like that. So no issues with that. So go over there and support that, right? But I'm listening to it and I'm just confused about the disrespect that a lot of these teams are getting from the panel, right? They were getting a lot of disrespect. Delaware State and Norfolk State were getting a lot of disrespect, right? Because if anybody remembers, I always knew that Lee Hall was an ass hire. I'm talking about Nicki Minaj ass hire, just bad. I knew that was a bad hire, right? So I get, and I never won it. But when you're adding Michael Vick, right? When you're adding Michael Vick, now Erica wasn't on last night. It was straight guys. It was straight the guys, right? My God, what they said about that. Let them know. Let them know. I'm bringing the heat today, right? So, but when you're talking about adding Michael Vick and adding Deshawn Jackson, that elevates something, right? It elevates something. And that didn't sit well with me on how they're looking at it. First of all, there's only 5 games in this damn conference, okay? It's like a 5-game AAU tournament, basketball in Florida, round robin, okay? There's only 5 of these damn games. So the rest of the games technically don't matter, but they matter. MEAC teams care, but, you know, whatever. So let's just be very clear about that, right? But I really didn't like the respect. And then on top of that, I think they were giving too much respect to other teams in the 5-team, 6-team conference, right? So here we go, right? This is MEAC Crash Out, HBCU Nightly Edition. And the first thing I had a problem with is them niggas came on looking like the Mortal Kombat Tower back in 1993. This shit was like 10 people long. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Looking like, you know how you, back in the day, when the Mortal Kombat, you had to beat the one level, then slide up to the next level, then slide up to the next level. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Shit was like 30 people long in that mug. I'm like, God damn, what are we talking about right now? Fix it, Jesus. Fix it. You know what I'm saying? Josh looking like, what's that boss level with the 4 arms? That's who Josh was. He the boss level, you know what I'm saying? With the 4-arm dude at the top of it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Dave at the bottom with look, come on, man. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it. Goro. There you go. Boy, y'all man must be knowing y'all games. Goro. Josh on the top looking like Goro. You know what I'm saying? Blue in that Jake looking like Raiden. You know what I'm saying? Let's not play this game. Let's not play this game. Okay, that's number one. That was my first problem with the whole situation shit. All right, that was my first issue. All right, now my second issue. Let's talk about these MEAC tiers. Now, Howard for me is like tier 2.5. Okay, they're not even really tier 2, right? It's tier 2.5 for Howard because they in that fringe area. They in the goulash, all right? They in that fringe area, right? But let's not act like, because a lot of these teams is talking big stuff like they like that, especially Banks. Banks be talking like Morgan like that. Morgan ain't like that. Stop playing. Morgan is not like that. When's the last time Morgan has won a damn thing in football? Don't worry, I'll wait. They not like that. Just because you went there and played there, and your daddy and your mama's daddy and your daddy's daddy, they all went to Morgan State. They probably still ain't seen nobody win at Morgan. So the mere fact that you're talking about Morgan State like they like that when they're not. They're not. That's why they in that tier 3 with Delaware State and Norfolk State. Let's not play this game, right? Like people have this false bravado, like, oh yeah, oh yeah. No. Like my boy Zoe said, take your school glasses off, take your school color glasses off, and really look at the situation that is going on at Morgan State. I don't give a damn that that Gerald is on the panel and he went Morgan. Oh, slow up, wait up. I don't give a damn about none of that. He can't save them from being ass. When you want to give them expectations, they always fail you in their expectations. And the consistency about Morgan State is they always fail you the exact same way. They fail you the exact same way. You ain't got no offense. You ain't got no offense. Since Damon Wilson has stepped foot on campus, every freaking year we've said the same thing about Morgan. God damn, if they had a quarterback. God damn, if they could score points. If Morgan could do this. If was a fifth, we will all be drunk. And that they're giving Morgan State too much credit. Your offense has been bad every year. So explain to me how now all of a sudden you like that. In the last 3 years we've watched you, your offense has been ass. What are we talking about right now? But then every year, want to get people's hopes up. Oh, yeah, Morgan's like that. Morgan's like that. Morgan's like that. Morgan's like that. No. What? No. Hell no. What are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? So no. So I feel like there's a lot of mismanaging of respect that has been given to these teams. Period. Right? And Howard is floating on that fringe because now Howard is in that in between to where it's like, was it a 1-year wonder? Can Larry Scott really pull it through? Because if we're being honest, the year they had Lee Hall as an offensive coordinator, people didn't like that offense. And then you let Lee Hall go. The next year you go to the Celebration Bowl, you lose. Then you come back the next year and your offense looks just as bad as it did when the other quarterback was in place, right? So because if we're being honest, what happened was simply this. If you watched Howard doing that run during the Celebration Bowl, they were a run-first team. If anybody tells you anything different, they are goddamn lie. They had a 3-headed monster in the backfield. Eden, Hunter, and another running back they had. They had 3 running backs that were just ungodly. Just straight up ungodly. Eden, Hunter, and there was another kid they had. Just ungodly good at running back, right? So you could literally just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Just, whatever. Run left, run right. Then they had the left tackle, the big African kid, right? They had all that going. That whole left side of the offensive line was just amazing as well. So there was a run for Wheeler. Thank you so much, Ian Wheeler, right? So they had all this going for them. So you didn't really have to ask Williams to do Quentin Williams. You didn't have to ask Q-Dub to do much. It was a lot of play action, hit it over the top, quick outs, quick throws or whatever. And then, hey, we roll and we'll run the ball and we'll make it work. That's it. So then they come into next year and the offense looks a little weird. Like it looks like to where they should be running the ball, but they want to throw the ball. And the quarterback that they have didn't look capable of really throwing the ball the way they wanted to do it. And you still had Eden James. You still had Hunter in the backfield. You still had capable running backs. Eden James just didn't fall off. You know what I'm saying? He didn't forget how to run the ball. He still goddamn Eden James, right? So the offense looked sporadic. It looked erratic because you didn't know what they did. They had no more identity, right? I think they went into the Celebration Bowl trying to be something they weren't when everybody knew what they was, which was keep the ball out of Quentin Williams' hand and let's just do this thing. And then next year they come into it where they didn't know really what they wanted to do, right? So it was all over the place for me. So granted, right? So moving on. Now, let's keep it a buck. Because I've heard this since I came into this space. If you do not have a quarterback, you have no chance of winning. Right? I've heard this every year I've been in this space. Mr. Campbell, he swears by it. If you do not have a quarterback, you will not win. Now, did anybody take it into account when they was doing all this prognostication and all that stuff? You know, I got an associate's degree. I ain't got no master's or bachelor's, nothing like that. I got an associate's. When they was doing all this, throwing out records, did anybody take into an account Morgan State has not had a quarterback since Damon Wilson has freaking touchdown? Howard does not have a quarterback. Norfolk State has an Israel Carey, but does not have a returning quarterback. South Carolina State just lost their guy, right? So again, the only returning quarterbacks that you're just like are worth a damn right here, right now, that you're just like, oh, I've seen them play. I know they can do a little something, is NCCU with the white boy and Delaware State with Marquis Adams. Right? So I'm confused. Did anybody take it into account to these? First of all, Morgan State and quarterbacks are like baby mothers and dads. They just don't work. Okay? That's what Morgan State is. Morgan State and quarterbacks are like baby mothers and fathers. They just don't work. Oil and water. He has not had a quarterback since he's touched down. That's half the battle. And clearly, defense does not win championships because they have not walked into one since Damon and Sewell have touched down. Defense has been ungodly. Like devil's door defense. Like, damn, I don't want to see these Bamas. But offensively, oh my God, everybody gets a turn. Kim Kardashian, everybody has hit that. Oh, man, they're going to at least give you about 3 picks. You see Morgan State's offense, shit, they're going to at least give you about 2 fumbles. You see Morgan State's offense, shit, we about to have a defensive day. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? Did anybody take any of that into account when you're just saying all these things? All these things. Because Morgan offensively is like, I ain't going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far. All right. You get my point. All right. I ain't going to. I don't want to take it. I don't want to go. And then, let's get even better. Let me show you something. Because, listen, I do a little research, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I do a little research. Let me show you who the new offensive coordinator is at Morgan State. Since Banks wants to, we doing this, and he crashed it out for Morgan. Let me show you who the new staff is. Y'all gonna love this. Y'all gonna love this. Oh, this writes itself. This writes itself. Now, let me show you how ass this website is. Let me just show you, first of all, let me show you how ass this website is by Morgan State. Let me show you how ass it is, right? Straight ass, right? Let's count with me. I feel like Miss Rachel, right? I feel like the count from Sesame Street. Count with me. 1 Damon Wilson, 2 Damon Wilson, 3 Damon Wilson, 4 Damon Wilsons, 5 David Wilsons. Let's go on. 1 Anton Sewell, 2 Anton Sewell, 3 Anton Sewell, 4 Antoine Sewells, 5 Anton Sewells. Apollo Wright, right? This is the new offensive coordinator at Morgan, Apollo Wright, right? Let's read his resume, shall we? Let's blow this up. Let's blow this up so y'all can read his resume. Tell me where all world offense sees, right? Morgan State University head football coach Damon Wilson made a major addition to his coaching staff, hiring Apollo Wright as the offensive coordinator. I've known Coach Wright for over 20 years and is very knowledgeable and passionate about the game of football, said Wilson. Coach Wright believes in ensuring that student athletes are prepared on and off the field. He's detail-oriented and looks to bring an exciting style of offense. What style of offense is that? Wilson added, Coach Wright has worked with some really good minds in football. I think he'll be a great fit at our university. He is also known as a great recruiter and elevator of talent. We are thankful to have an opportunity to bring him to the Bear family. Still waiting for an offense. Still waiting for some type of accolades for offense. The 48-year-old Wright comes with a lengthy resume. Impressive 22 years of assistant coaching at the FBS football championship programs in college football. Wright brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the team. His experience at both levels of competition also gives him a unique perspective and understanding for the game. Still no accolades. Prior to joining Coaches Wilson's staff, Wright spent the last 2 seasons as head football coach at Fredania Beach High School. During his time, he was able to develop his coaching skills and leadership abilities, leading to the team's multiple victories and establishing a strong program. Still no accolades. Wright previously worked as assistant head coach of New Mexico and Florida International. That ain't saying much. Wright spent 7 seasons as assistant head New Mexico, where he coached running backs, quarterbacks, filled the role of special teams coordinator. Prior to that, Wright coached for 6 seasons at Florida International University. They've been ass for the last 6 seasons. Pennsylvania native, Wright spent the early part of his career in Philadelphia area, including 6 years as a running backs coach at Villanova, where there he coached former NFL standout Brian Westbrook. And Wright had a stand-up prep career. Again, in Blue, and if Blue's still on here, I know Blue is chuckling his ass off, because I'm telling you right now, if you go to any offensive coach, right, they're going to tell you what they average, how many points they put up. You know, their quarterbacks got this accolade, running backs got this accolade. I had this many All-Americans. I had this many. If I go to Matt Leone right now, if I go to Matt Leone's page as an offense coordinator, I promise you he's going to say, I had this type of quarterback leading here. I had this all-time offense. I averaged this many amount of points. Where is any of that as an offense coordinator?
Oh, goddamn.
And this is who gets 6 and 5? This is who they got going 6 and 5? Really? He didn't have not one number, not one distinguishable anything. A quarterback All-American. Oh, I knew Damon Wilson for 20 years. That's all I need. That's all I need. See, I knew, right? I knew he was good because he known Damon for 20 years. That's all I need. That's all they needed. Shit. Me and Damon Wilson, we go like 2 flights in the Cadillac. We go back like cornrows. Matter of fact, me and his grandmama, she used to make us the little ice cups with the popsicles. You know what I'm saying? With the popsicle and the ice cup. That was us. That was us on the corner. Come on, man. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about right now? I'll give y'all a perfect example because you're like, Scotty, you lying. Oh, okay, I'm lying. You know what? I won't even do that. I won't even, you know what? I won't even, I think that's, let me see. Let me see. You know what? I'll go to, who should I go to? I'm going to try to go to somebody who, I'm going to go to, Tony Hall's not fair. I'm going to go to Matt Leone. Just so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So y'all can see the difference. I just want y'all to see the difference, right? I just want y'all, that's all I'm asking. I just want y'all to see the difference so you understand what I'm saying. First of all, you see the difference, right? You see the difference. All right, let me see if I can squeeze this in for y'all. And then I'm going to zoom this in for y'all so y'all can really get a good look. All right, here we go. I just want you to see the difference. And when you have an offensive coordinator who has done something. Okay? So I'm going to just read you the first paragraph. I'm going to read you 2 paragraphs. I'll read you 3 paragraphs. Matt Leone joined North Carolina Central in 2020 after spending 4 seasons at Southern University. He is currently the Eagles offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. The Eagles have been the most prolific offense the past 2 seasons. In 2023, NCCU went 9-3 and was in the hunt for the MEAC title. The Eagles averaged the conference best 38.5 points, 37.2 yards per game in offense. Need I say more? Need I say more? Need I say more? Do I got to read another paragraph? All I'm trying to tell you is if Apollo Wright had done anything in his career that was somewhat sustainable, somewhat measurable, you would have numbers. Even at his high school. You know what? Let's look up his high school. Let's go back and look at his high school. What did he do at the high school? I really want to know because I ain't looking up. This is my first time. What was it called? Let's see what he did. The last 2 seasons, right? Let's see what he did at Fernanda High School. Let's see that. Football. Let's see. Boy. Banks, you better go somewhere, Banks. You better go somewhere, Banks. This ain't looking too good. What we talking about? I ain't got a lot of y'all. I ain't got a lot of y'all. I ain't got a lot of y'all. The nigga was 3-7. I ain't got a lot of y'all. You think I'm out here lying? Does anybody think I'm out here lying now? For the last, that's what the article said. The last 2 years, he been the head coach. He been absolutely ass. Absolutely ass. Again, ass. I ain't got a lot of y'all, because if he had, any sustainable success, they would have put that in the damn title. They would have put it in his biography. That's why they only put that he had been coaching there for the last 2 years. I'm not here to lie to y'all. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to expose it. And this is supposed to be the guy that's supposed to lead Morgan to 6-5 all of a sudden? Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen. I'm here to do the due diligence that Banks didn't want to do for y'all.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the score with.
Sometimes Sometimes you gotta shoot Bama's dreams down. Shot you down, bang, bang. Shot you down, bang, bang. I'm here to do the due diligence that makes it. Come on, man. Come on, man. Again, I want to be very clear. This has no shot to Damon and Antoine Sewell defensively. They are juggernauts. If football was played on one side of the ball, they'll be in the goddamn Hall of Fame. If football came down to whose defense was the best, they'd be in the goddamn Hall of Fame, right? But that's not how this game works. You got to be good on both sides of the ball. No diddy. No diddy. You feel me? You feel me? Okay. So again, returning QBs. Let's take it even farther. Trusted offensive coordinators. Which one of these offensive coordinators do you trust? I just explained to you. Josh, go somewhere, bro. Go somewhere, bro. Go somewhere. I just told you. I can't concentrate. Listen, I just explained to you why you took Morgan State off the board. Norfolk State OC hasn't done it on this level. Howard is kind of like a and Delaware State, you don't know what they're going to do. So again, there's a lot. All I'm trying to get you guys to understand is this. This is my whole point. I think there's a lot of fluidity. The only thing to me that is a constant is NCCU. Everything else is up for grabs. I want to make that very clear. I think the only constant of somebody you're just like, hey, I know what I'm going to get is Trey Oliver and Matt Leone. They're like peanut butter and jelly, baby. They go together, right? It goes together. But everybody else, even Chennis Berry, because a lot of that team that he used for the Celebration Bowl was not who he recruited, right? Other than the quarterback and some other pieces, like receivers and stuff like that. But I'm saying there was good bones at South Carolina State. A lot of Bamas didn't jump in the portal. There's just a lot of fluidity. It's a lot of fluidity. The only constant that you can give is only on certain teams. And I'm trying to show you the gaps and holes that a lot of these teams have to where the question is, because at the end of the day, you got to ask, what are these teams' problems? What are these teams' issues going forward? I think Norfolk State, honestly, and I know people are going to disagree with me, I think Norfolk State is in the same boat as South Carolina State when Chennis Berry came into South Carolina State. I think there's some great bones at Norfolk State. Like there's a great foundation that Odom's built with the O-line, with the running backs, right? And the things that I think Michael Vick can change are things that come easy, right? Things that come easy. So again, I'm not saying, listen, I said trusted, right? Trusted is saying this. I've seen him do his work. I know it's going to work. He has not called offensive play calling for a Division I program, let alone at Delaware State. You might believe in his concept and you might believe in his philosophy, but when you say trusted, is that I know what you can do. I seen you do it. That's not trusted yet. It's not trusted. It just isn't. You might say he has experience. You might say that, he's called plays before. He's an experienced play caller, but trusted? No, not trusted. Right? Agreed. Running back room is going to be solid. Quarterback, Marquis Adams, if he stays healthy, going to be solid. They got to replace some wide receivers, right? And they got to get better on defense. They got to get better in the trenches. But trusted, you see what I'm saying? Is yet to be seen. Now, let's dive a little deeper. Trusted defensive coordinators. Here we go, right? NCCU just lost their guy to NCAT. I'm not saying who they didn't replace him with is not good, but what I'm saying is he trusted. We don't know. He hasn't called it for NCCU. He hasn't used his talent. We haven't seen him in the conference. Those are the shaky issues. Howard, is it trusted? I could have gave Howard that one. I could have gave Howard that one. Their defense has been solid. You know, yeah, I could have gave Howard that one. Erica, I apologize. I could have gave y'all that one. If you still on, I could have gave y'all that one. I could have gave you that. Norfolk, South Carolina State. I could have gave South Carolina State that too. I could have gave him that one. I like the white dude. I could have gave him that one. All right, I'll take the hit on this one. I'll take the hit on this one. I could have gave it to South Carolina State and Howard. I could have gave it to them. I think Howard's defensive coordinator, he called a pretty good game. It was tough when you didn't have much offense coming your way to protect your defense. And then South Carolina State, the white guy is pretty strong. You know what I'm saying? So it's just real. It's real shaky, right? So South Carolina State and Howard, I'll give y'all that. I'll slide y'all up to the Morgan State level. We all know what Morgan State is the gold standard for defense. We get that. Nobody's taking that away from them. But South Carolina State and Howard, I can slide y'all up in there. So I'll take the hit on this one, right? So I'll apologize on that one, right? So I'll give you that. Now let's get to these schedules. And I want to give a shout out to Josh because he did have to work for me. I just took the ones that you put up on HBCU Nightly. So shout out. So we'll see how it go there. All right, let's start with Delaware State. Now, granted, I'm going to run through this fast. I ain't got no Mortal Kombat tower, so I ain't got to ask 10 people what they feel. This is just my opinion right now, penciling it in, right? Delaware, UAlbany, those are losses. Bowie State's a win. St. Francis is a win. Sacred Heart, I'm going to give it an eh. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna give it. So I give them. They go 3-3, right? They lose to Monmouth. So Bowie State, St. Francis, Sacred Heart, Monmouth. Monmouth's a loss. Sacred Heart. So 3-3 in the first half, right? The Southern Conference giving them that dub. That is 4 wins right there. That's 4 wins for Delaware State. That's a victory. Let alone celebrate that, embrace that. All right, you got 4 wins right here. Now, coming into the conference, this is where it gets tricky, right? I see them losing to NCCU. I think it's going to be a good game, but I see them losing. Norfolk State, the game of the year, and I'm standing on that, game of the year. I'm going to have to come back to that one. I'm going to have to come back to that. I got to think about that one some more, right? Morgan, at Morgan, they win that game. Howard, they win that game. South Carolina State, they lose. They lose, right? So I got them going 6. I'm giving them what? Hold on, let me see. 4, 5, 6. I think that might be. I think that might be a little too much. 6 wins. I think they can pull 6 wins off. I'm gonna give them the Norfolk State loss. I say they lose to Norfolk State, right? But I feel like they can beat Morgan and Howard. At least beat Howard. I got these Bamas talking about they going 0-5 in conference. I'm like, Howard is not that good. And if I'm being honest, South Carolina State defensively, I think they're going to be really good. I don't know what they're going to look like offensively. It's no way I'm giving them 4 wins max. It's no way they don't win a game in conference. It's no way that Delaware State can't pull off 1 game in conference. I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I believe they can beat Howard or Morgan on any day of the week. Because, again, think about it. I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something real quick. This was last year. They lost by 8 points. And you're telling me Deshawn Jackson is not going to have more talent than they did this year? Are you telling me they're not going to be a better coach team than what they were last year? Must I remind you? Again, Morgan State is not that team. They're just not. So again, my issue is this, because I agree with you when you say they got an FBS defense, right? They do. But again, it's not like they've been shutting people out. It's not like let's keep it a buck. Let's go back to that slide, right? This was one of the worst teams in the conference, and the worst team in the conference put 28 on them. One of the worst teams in the conference put 28 on them. So let's not act like let's not act like they the 2000 Ravens or they the 2021 Jackson State team. Like, all right, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Last year's Delaware State team that you telling me is an FBS defense, they put 28 points on them. So you're telling me that Deshawn Jackson's team with a Marquis Adams can't put up points? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just want to keep it real when we're talking about what these teams really look like. And if I'm being honest, your offensive coordinator is a downgrade. So let me get this straight. What you were already bad at did not get upgraded. So what's going to be the difference? Again, you made a weakness more of a weakness by hiring Apollo Wright. And the only reason, if you need me to bring up the bio, I can bring it up again. The only reason he hired him is because he knew Damon Wilson for 20 years. Congratulations. You played yourself. You get what I'm saying? Now let's move on. Now, Howard, let's talk conference. I'll tell you one thing. If Howard loses to Tennessee State, fire Larry Scott the same day. Fire Larry. If Larry Scott loses to Tennessee State, fire Larry Scott the same damn day. And I mean that. On everything I love, I mean that. All right. Morgan State homecoming. I think Morgan State pulls that out. NCCU pulls it out. I would have Howard going winless in the conference before I would put Delaware State. And I mean that. I truly mean that. I would have Howard going winless. I think Morgan State wins that game at their homecoming. Or that's Howard's homecoming. Morgan State, you know what I'm saying? I think they lose to NCCU. Well, that's kind of a rivalry, and it's at, I don't know, that because Blue talked about it. Blue said there's always one game that NCCU kind of sleeps through, and that could be the game. That could be. They do got like a little mini rivalry going back and forth, one win there, one win there, one win there, one win there. It could be. You might not listen. It is a little mini rivalry, Josh. You can't deny it. It is a little mini rivalry. 40 here, 40 there. Wins at each other's home. I think that could be the one that gets. I think they might win one. They might beat NCCU. That's at home. Yeah. And South Carolina State, they lose. At Delaware State, they lose. Norfolk State, they lose. So if I was going to give them one, I would give them one beating NCCU because of a mini rivalry. That's it. Very mini rivalry. Yeah. Okay. But it happened. It's very many. In a short, in a very short, I'm not talking about 20 years. Talking about in a little short, that's 1-2. It's been like, they got you, you got them, right? 40 for you, 40 for them. They might put 40 on you again. But okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, in a 2-year mini sample. It's a very mini sample size, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's all I'm saying. All right. So moving on, because I don't really care about the out of conference stuff. Now, okay, let's go through Morgan State's full schedule because I really want to see where these 6 wins coming from. They lose to South Alabama. They lose to Towson. They lose to Toledo. They beat the next 3. You see why they got Virginia Lynchburg, because they need wins desperately. Okay. So they got a D2, they got a Georgetown, and they got a Virginia Lynchburg. Like, for real, you talking about desperate for some wins? That's desperate. All right. So that leaves them with what, 3-3. They come into the conference 3-3. Did I give them that game? No, I gave them a loss. Shit, I think they beat Howard at Howard for homecoming, and then they lose the rest. They lose to South Carolina State. They lose to Delaware State. They lose to Norfolk, and they lose to NCCU. That's 5 wins. So, like, that's 4. That's 4 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wins, 5 at the maximum. 5 at the maximum. And I don't even know where the 5th one's coming from. 4 and a possible. They go on board. I got Morgan at board. 4 and a possible. Miles is 1. Georgetown's 2. Virginia Lynchburg is 3. Howard is 4. Where the other one coming from? That's 4 and a possible. And the possible looking real shaky. All right? Okay, if I'm not giving them Delaware State, because I know y'all giving them Delaware State. I'm not giving them Delaware State. I think Delaware State wins. Because from what Josh told me, they got to play them at Morgan. I thought it was at I thought it was at Delaware. Because Josh be like, at Delaware is tough. It's tough for anybody. I'm not giving them Del State. I'm high on Delaware State. I'm not giving them Del State. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not doing it. That's 4 and a possible. It's 4 and a possible. But it ain't no 6 and 5. That's what it's not. It ain't no 6 and 5. I'm not doing that. Next up, Norfolk State. They lose to Towson. They beat Virginia State. They lose to Rutgers. They beat Sacred Heart. They lose to Wagner. The Battle of the Bay. Okay, let me just be very clear. I think you guys are giving Hampton too much credit. This is a rebuild for Hampton right now. I think Hampton is better than NCAT right here, right now, but I don't think they're better than Norfolk State, right? I give Norfolk State the Battle of the Bay. They lost their quarterbacks, right? Elijah Burris isn't back there, right? I don't think this is the same Hampton team that you guys are used to seeing. I really don't believe that. I do believe Hampton is better than NCAT right here, right now, but I don't believe Hampton is going to be better than Norfolk. So I'm going to give that one to Norfolk. So Virginia State, Sacred Heart, they lose to Wagner. They beat Hampton 1, 2, 3. That's 3. They lose to Wofford. They probably could beat Wofford. Hampton has owned it, but I'm gonna have to give that one to Norfolk. This one, I think they got it. Wofford, that's a loss. I think Norfolk beats Delaware State. It's at Delaware State? Hold on. I think Norfolk beats Morgan. They beat Howard. They beat Howard and Morgan. I agree with Blue. I think they clipped South Carolina State. I'll give them 4. I think the only loss they give is NCCU. I think Michael Vick has a really good first year. I think the one I'm real shaky on is I didn't know it was at Delaware State. I thought it was in Hampton. I thought it was in Norfolk. Oh shoot, that changes up everything. Nah, I'm gonna go 3. I think they beat. I don't know, at Delaware State. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay, so I'm giving them Morgan and Howard. I think those are gimmies. I think those are gimmies. It's the South Carolina State and Delaware State game for me. I'm a little shaky on those two. Let me see what I got here. I got 1, 2, 3. And the reason, listen, I know you guys are really high on Chennis. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm just saying I got to see what that quarterback situation looks like. I got to see what that quarterback situation going to look like at South Carolina State. I think defensively they're going to be solid. I think trenches-wise they'll be solid. And I want to be, and I'm being honest. When you're talking about, listen to what I'm saying. Norfolk was not left destitute. I want to be very clear what I'm saying. Norfolk State was not left destitute. They were not, right? They had great trench play. I'm not a very, listen, but again, a returning guy. He was on the bench. So essentially, and don't get me wrong, Josh, I'm putting him in the same boat as your white boy last year, right? So you kind of don't know what he is, but you kind of do know what he is, right? Because you've seen him in sporadic moments. You've seen him in play here, play there moments. You don't know what he looks like being the starter for the whole year, right? So that's where I'm at with him. So Walker Harris and Rubber and Stubblefield are kind of in the same boat for me, right? You can see the potential, but you really don't know where it's all at in the grand scheme of things, right? Not the FBS defense, Josh. Not the FBS defense you talking about that everybody ranting and raving. Not the FBS defense. Didn't they get like 50 put on them? He put 50 on them boys against the FBS defense. Mr. Morgan State. Come on, man. More like the Bad News Bears. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do this. It's at home. I'm gonna give that game. I'm gonna say they lose to Del State. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me repeat myself. Let me go back. I didn't know the Delaware State game was at Delaware State, and Josh has said it on numerous times. He's a MEAC connoisseur, right? That it's hard to play up in Delaware. So again, I'm going to give Norfolk State the South Carolina State game, and I'm saying they lose to Del State because it's at Del State. It's like from what Josh has said, it's like playing Valley at Valley. All right, it's like playing Valley at Valley. So I got Norfolk beating South Carolina State because that's at home. I got them losing to Del State. I got them losing to NCCU, and I got them sweeping out Morgan and Howard. So that leaves me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. 6 wins for Michael Vick in his first year. It's not bad. All right, it's not bad. 6 wins. They win 3 games in conference. Not bad. I'll take that. All right. Here we go. South Carolina State. I don't know much about Wofford, so I'm going to give it to Wofford. But I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina State wins that game. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to give it to Wofford. They lose. They beat Bethune. They lose to South Florida. Charleston Southern. I don't think it's too high for Norfolk. I think they're a very talented squad. Like, you got to understand, they already had good players. The only thing Vic had to come in and do is add to the perimeter. That's all Vic really had to do was add perimeter playmakers. Playmakers at the quarterback position with Carey. Quarterback positions at the adding to the wide receiver position and adding to the D line, right? In the front 7. But they had I'm telling you, Norfolk had great talent on the team. It just wasn't a lot of explosiveness. And Odom's run such a basic offense that once you stop the run, it kind of limits everything else. Right. So I'm not, that's where I'm at with that. So they lose to South Carolina, they beat Bethune, they lose to South Florida, they beat Charleston, they beat Savannah State. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 wins. They beat NCAT handedly. That's 4. They beat Norfolk. They beat Morgan. They beat Howard. I'm trying to see. Somebody said, say it. I'm trying to see where these. I said they. Yeah, okay. And they lose. Okay. And they lose to South Carolina State. Yeah. So they beat Dale State. They lose to NCCU. They beat Howard, Morgan, and they lose at Norfolk. I think that's where I had it. I said they lose at Norfolk. I think Norfolk clips them. They beat Morgan. They beat Howard. They beat Dale State. So that gives them what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wins. 7 wins. And then NCCU, they beat Southern. I'm going to skip over these 2, the Old Dominion and New Hampshire. They beat Fayetteville. They beat NCAT. They beat East Texas. They lose to FAM. At FAM, they lose. Delaware State, and they run through the MEAC. I think the only team they might lose to is Howard, but they run through everything else. They run through everything else. Let me see. They beat Southern. This is actually a really good schedule for NCCU to go undefeated, possibly. Like, they could possibly go undefeated. Realistically, they could. I think they lose the Old Dominion. I say they beat New Hampshire, and I think they lose the Old Dominion. I think they lose. I think they lose the Old Dominion and they beat New Hampshire. Either I think they go 1-1. I think they split. I think they beat. I think they split one of those 2 games, right? I don't think they beat both New Hampshire and Old Dominion. I don't see that happening. I think they split one of them, right? I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised. Right? I'm not surprised, right? But I think they split one of those 2 games. So it doesn't matter which way you go. But they should definitely, I'll say so. Wins, let's say they go 1, they beat New Hampshire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. Yeah, I would say I agree with Blue. I think the floor is 10. I think the floor is 10. But I think they lose the FAM. I think they lose the FAM at FAM. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I do agree with Blue. I think the floor is 10. Your floor got to be at least 10. 9 to 10. Yeah, for wins, definitely got to be. I'm not mad at this schedule, right? I'm not mad. The East Texas game, is better than Virginia Lynchburg. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And that Delaware, hey, listen, Deshawn Jackson in the nest, that's going to be crazy. They're not losing to Southern. Southern's, dog, they're not. Dog, I swear to God. If NCCU's a Southern, that's some shit. Because Southern is not really that good. Southern is not that good at all. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's another NCCU run. But again, they could slip up against Howard. I mean, I can see them losing again. I think I gave Howard that game. They could slip up against one of these teams in the MEAC. It's possible. It happens. That's just how the MEAC rolls. But as of right now, you got to go like 9 to 10, like Blue said, it's got to be the floor for NCCU. But Morgan, listen, man, I'm stuck on this Morgan State at 6-5. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm stuck at. I'm stuck at. I'm just woo. That's where I'm stuck at. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's exactly where I'm stuck at because it don't make no sense. But I'm gonna open these call lines up if anybody got some time. 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. Gonna open these call lines up. Banks has been texting me on the side. That boy funny. While I've been doing this show. But again, my point is this. This is probably.
You are the only participant in the conference.
For me.
All participants are muted.
In my time. Oh, there you go. What's up, Erica?
Greetings.
What's going on? Talk to me.
I was very offended by the show last night. Even though I couldn't be on, I was getting messages. I think they are grossly underestimating my fighting bison. And actually, I'm glad they are because we'll use it as bulletin board material.
Okay, explain to me what grossly looks like, because let's keep it a buck. Your quarterback position since Q-Dub, and even Q-Dub was a little shaky. The last year was a little shaky.
You know how I feel about Q-Dub.
Yeah.
It is.
So, and you still got Eden, you know what I'm saying? But overall, it's looking your defense has been good, but a lot of those pieces are gone. You know what I'm saying? So what makes you feel that you're like, okay, I can believe in what Larry Scott is building or what you've seen?
Well, I believe in my guys.
That's it. I just believe in my guys.
Let's reorient how we approach that. But the reports I'm getting from spring ball look very promising. I think last year why the offense looked so bad, partially because there was no offensive line. I mean, the line was decimated, and I think they've gone out in this off season and really tried to replenish that. And from what I've been told, I'm not going to spring practice until next week.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking very, very good. So I'm excited about that. Eden's back. And then our guy, Kenny Gallup, he graduated, but he's got a little brother named Caleb, who I think is ready to step up to be the anchor of that defense. So I'm excited for what's to come. I think there's a lot of energy and some of the young guys coming out. And so, yeah, we lost Ian and Anim 2 years ago. We lost, Jarrett, Casey, and Kenny this year. But I'm feeling very confident about the guys that are ready to step up into these new roles.
How are the Howard people feeling about Larry Scott? What is it? What is Larry Scott's future at Howard? Does he need to make a run? I know it doesn't have to be a championship, but does it need to be something that's like let me go to y'all schedule real quick. Does it need to be this schedule's this schedule's
it's a
tough.
Schedule. It's a tough schedule. Yeah.
FAM, that's a loss. Temple, that's a loss.
We were ducking smoke this year, at least. No one can say that.
Yeah.
No cupcakes on this schedule at all.
Richmond's a loss. I think you can pull it out against Sacred Heart and Morehouse, of course. 1-2. Tennessee State has to be a win. That don't even make sense if it's not. So that's 3.
We've lost one game at home in 4 seasons. We're not losing to Morgan State at homecoming. Please tell Banks to stop smoking crack. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me ask you this. So what does it need to look like for Larry Scott? Is he on the hot seat? Is he straight? Like, does he have to get 6-7 wins? What does it look like?
Oh, that's not necessarily a thing that we have. That's he might be on my hot seat. I don't think he's on the Howard fan hot seat. But there needs to be a better showing this year for certain. There needs to be a better showing this year for certain. Last year, I think all of us felt like we underperformed, in that he didn't we couldn't use the tools that we had. I mean, we had great pieces last year. We just couldn't take advantage of it. So definitely need to be more than 3 wins. But I don't think if he doesn't get to a Celebration Bowl, he's on the hot seat. Now, will I start chirping? Certainly, but I don't think there'll be like some massive rumbling in the crowd about it.
Oh man, Eric, it's good to hear your voice. Appreciate it. Hey, don't let them do you like that next time. You got to be on there to fight for you fight for the Bison. You got to be on there.
Listen, it's a little early for me to talk football, but come summertime, I'm ready to fight.
All right,
so we good.
All right, see you. Appreciate the call.
But
Mr. HBCU Nightly himself. Half of it anyway.
Hey.
What's going on, Jay?
What up, boy? What's happening?
What's good? Talk to me.
So look, first of all, I want to make sure I say something. First of all, boy, you crazy as hell, boy. Let's start it. Boy, you crazy as hell, boy. Second of all, I want to make sure I say this statement very nicely. Howard Faithful, listen, guys, you went 4-8 last year, okay? Like, let's not act like 3-9 isn't too far away from you guys, all right? Okay, you went 4-8 last year. Casey Hawthorne's gone, Jared Hunter's gone, okay? All right, we don't know what's going to happen up there. All right, let's just start there. Now, I want to make sure I preface this real quick. And you saw this last night live, and I love my brother, but he was willing to die on the hill that was Morgan State last night. I mean, we really derailed the show. You talked about it going 3 hours last night. He really derailed the show last night and made us go way, way, way over what I planned for us to do in time. Now, we go long-winded on HBCU Nightly. Pause, pre-pause. But nonetheless, though, ultimately, I think Banks's point is it's time for him to put up or shut up. And so he's exerting this pressure, pause, so that, like, bro, what you gonna do if you don't find a way to progress as the head coach this year? It's time for us to go in another direction.
Facts.
I think that's what Banks was doing. I can't speak for Banks. I think that's what he was doing last night. But ultimately, for those of y'all who don't know, because I heard the Mortal Kombat line, all right? So what we do is we get a panel of people. They come on. Everybody gets a vote. When it comes to the MEAC, I don't get a vote because everybody says I'm biased and everybody thinks that I'm going to always skew to North Carolina Central. So I don't get a vote. Everybody else get a vote. I don't get a vote. But it's a democracy. You know what I would have loved? I would have loved to have you on the show like yesterday. You know what I mean? You starting to get into MEAC world. I would have loved you to be on the show last night, bro. But that's it. That's all I got, dog.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. 2 parts. So one, I do agree with Blue, Zach. You call him Zach, I call him Blue. But I do agree with Blue where you guys are going to slip up. It's just the MEAC way. I can't explain. You know what I'm saying? It's the MEAC way.
It's the North Carolina Central way. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? I think you are going to slip up. I mean, I think I would say the South Carolina State game, but I think you guys are going to have too much hyper focus for that game for what happened last year to come into it this year and let that game slide. So I don't think that's going to be the game that trips y'all up. I really do think it might be the Howard game. That's just my little 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but I wouldn't be surprised if you guys were undefeated in the MEAC. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But if you slipped up, it wouldn't surprise me either. My second part of this is this: Delaware State and Norfolk. Like, bro, y'all were being mad disrespectful. Like, y'all listen.
No, but you gotta understand why though. You gotta understand why now, as it pertains to Delaware State.
Go ahead.
If I felt like Deshawn Jackson was putting his cleats on and he was gonna put his helmet and pads on, he was going out there. We're having a different conversation. You got to remember, North Carolina Central came back to the MEAC in 2010. Since 2010, Delaware State has consistently been one thing. They have consistently been the worst team in this conference, tied most years with Howard for being the worst team in this conference for the betterment of us being in the MEAC, right? And so where I think Deshawn Jackson is going to get a chance to do something, what I am never okay with, and you know this, I've been consistent in this, I never want to add unwarranted, unrealistic pressure on a first-year head coach, especially coming into this conference that is defense heavy, right? And we run the ball a lot in this conference. It's going to be very difficult to replace that. He just lost he lost an all-conference, what I thought was an all-American running back to the portal. Only time will tell if he replaced that. When you get to MEAC play, you know this. We run the ball. Offensive line play is, you know what I mean, it's super important. I just don't know, and I don't want to add that type of pressure on him yet. I want to give him a chance. Same thing with Mike Vick. I was very, very open and honest last night about, guys, like, there's some games now. I wouldn't like Banks. Banks is making a problem about Wagner and Virginia State. Like, bro, come on. But ultimately, I don't want to add any unwarranted pressure on Del State. I want Delaware State to be better. I do. But I just haven't seen it. Hope only time will tell if Deshawn Jackson is the person to move Del State into an era that they've never been in for the betterment of the 2000s.
I'll say this. This is my thing. I think to get a different result, you had to do a different thing. And
For sure.
when you really go left, because I think a lot of it, and you'll speak to it, like Delaware State has had talented players, right? Wilkerson that went down to Jackson, and the safety that went down to Jackson. They've had talented players, but they haven't been able to put it all together. I think in a situation like this, where you add more talent and you add, I believe, I won't even say Deshawn Jackson is the coach. I would say all the little pieces of other coaches, the Travis Clarks who've rebuilt program. I think the staff that he's put together has made everything. I'll say this is probably the most, outside of NCCU, and if they start looking shaky early in the season, if anything doesn't go the way it's supposed to go early in the season, I would say this is probably the most open field the MEAC has been in a long time. It's really NCCU and everybody else right now. But if it starts looking,
it's been that for the last 5 years, bro, and we find a way to mess that up. Good point, great point.
But I think
I know, bro. I'm in purgatory right now.
You know, but
we're supposed to be in our 5th conference championship in a row,
but I think if it looks any type of shaky, or if it doesn't, or if any team. And I don't think it's coming from Morgan, but I think if any team picks up momentum, a Norfolk or Delaware or Howard, right? I think that's going to add to whatever this MEAC is going to look like. But I think the dichotomy, what's the word I'm looking for? I think the disparity. I think it's probably the best it's been since all those teams have left the MEAC. I think this is probably the best that these 5-6 teams, how many Alabama's got, is at. So I'm excited. Bro. Yeah, I'm excited.
I agree. This is the best. This is the best. First off, you just look at the coaches. You know, this is probably the best configuration of coaches. I'm not sure if we've ever had a configuration of coaches like this in the conference. Yeah, the verdict is still out, but I just said it last night. Mike Vick looks natural as a head coach. Deshawn Jackson is going to be that quirky, out-of-the-box head coach that this conference needs. Big brand, can talk, can be very favorable to the media. We needed that. You can't just have, of course, you got Chennis Berries, you got the Trey Oliver, who is the top dog in the conference, but ultimately, bro, when you look at this conference, you're right. What I expect more than anything out of Central, because I know a lot of people want to hear what my thoughts are about Central, and I try to intentionally not do that everywhere, but on our shows, but I can do that on yours, right? Central's not gonna have any problems with consistency. 90+% of the roster's back. 90+% of the roster's back. We got arguably the best quarterback in HBCU football back. I know a lot of people gonna have some questions and thoughts about that, because that brother he looks like the inside of a palm. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But at the end of the day, when you look at consistency, Walker Harris come on, man. You ain't got but a handful of guys outside of Jacoby and Morgan down in Jackson. Ain't but a handful of quarterbacks that's returning from last season. And then outside of Jacoby and Morgan again, there's no other quarterback in HBCU football with the success to match coming back from last year. So the defense is going to be fine under new defensive coordinator Jesse Powell. We're going to be perfectly fine. Brother got defensive coordinator experience. He was on the staff last year, so he had a chance to see what Core did right, what Core did wrong. And then you got to keep in mind, Trey Oliver is our head coach. He's a defensive-minded head coach. He's going to be on that side of the ball helping. And then, outside of that, everybody in the receiver room back, with the exception of Joaquin Davis, who will be in the NFL soon. Running back room is good. Watch out for number 1. I'm telling you now, same way I told y'all last year about Jamar.
About Jamar,
telling you again this year.
Yeah, you did.
I told you about Jamar last year. I'm telling you again now. Watch out for number 1. If you go back and watch the film, he was number 35 last year. He's gonna be number 1 this year.
That's a
He
big.
is
Hey,
electrifying.
that's a big jump in
He's
numbers.
electrifying.
That's a big jump in
Yeah,
numbers.
well, look, he the guy. He the guy now. You know what I mean? Last year he was the spell back last year, and even being the spell back last year, I think he had double-digit rushing touchdowns, even as the spell back last year. You know what I mean? So again, we continue to keep showing we can develop talent in Durham. It's just, man, we got to put it together, bro. I'm tired of coming up short, bro. I'm tired of coming up short. So that's it, bro. I mean, but I feel you. I mean, but I understand where Banks is coming from with his Morgan State take. I think he's trying to add some additional pressure. We've been telling him for years, both you and I have been telling him for years, you got to relax, bro, until y'all get an offense. But they don't want to listen. Hard head make a soft head.
That's what they say. That's what they say. Once he and then you can't go out hiring offensive coordinators with no offense. Let's not even go there. But hey, Jay, appreciate the call, Brody.
Hey, for sure, bro. Always, bro.
70-34 coming to you, to Mr. Sergeant. You're next.
What up, Scotty? Scotty, what's going on, baby? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Rob from Dallas. You know what else they say?
What they say?
Pride comes before the fall. Do you think that the MEAC's lack of pride by not wanting to add some of these PWIs to the conference is going to eventually cause them to evaporate? Because seriously, this may be the last year of the MEAC.
It might be. You know what I'm saying? This might be Morgan State's last opportunity to get a championship. Because if they go to a PWI conference, that ship is sailed. All right, so this might be Morgan State better get it.
And also, if in fact that fails, how does that affect the SWAC? Because now who they gonna play for the Celebration Bowl?
Listen, I appreciate your call. Appreciate the call. I answered the question offline. But me and Perry had this conversation in the Jaguar Journal. Shout out to him. Listen, you got to go to a 16 playoff. You got to go to an HBCU 16 playoff. If you're the Celebration Bowl committee, right? That means it's open to every HBCU that is not in their conference championship game, right? So it's like, example would be, or if they don't make the playoffs, right? So example would be, let's say Tennessee State loses the championship game. Well, they'll be in the 16 playoff, right? Who else would you take? You would have took NCCU, you would have took South Carolina State, you would have took Tennessee State if they didn't make the playoffs, so they did. You'd have took Jackson, you'd have took Southern, and you would have taken Jackson, Southern, NCCU, South Carolina State. And South Carolina State, NCCU, Jackson, Southern, Tennessee State if they didn't make it to the playoffs, and then one more team. So that's how you do that. And then you run it. Mr. Sargent, coming to you.
All right, sir. I was going to make a comment related to your brother, HBCU Nightly. However, because this is off script and you've done a great job of training us, I went and looked at the 2025 Florida A&M football schedule. And the first thing I had to say was, yikes! Because if Cozy doesn't figure out how to win 2 of the first 3 games,
it's a wrap.
I ain't betting on him for nothing other than how quickly he's going to get fired.
It's a fact.
I mean, that those first 3 games, I have no expectations that will be Florida Atlantic. I hope we do, but I have really no expectations based on how he handled the Troy game last year. Anyway, you know what, Scotty, I didn't get a chance to ask this question. I didn't want to be disrespectful on the chat when you had him on, but I really want to ask him, and I got to figure out a way to do this subtly. How is it that a defensive coach, you're a defensive coach, you're on that side of the ball, could have such a porous run defense that we had last year? And what is the prospects of that being the same thing this year? I mean, it took him forever to switch out the offensive coordinator. I would have switched him up right after the Prairie View loss. I'm like, oh, you got to go, man. We can't be losing Prairie View, right? Anyway, so here's the deal. Let your boy know that I might be looking to take a bet with him on the NCCU game on September 20th, because on September 20th this year, the first three games will come through, and we will either have Cozy or not have Cozy, and then I'll be able to make a strong bet. But great show, and I'm a little upset with Mr. Nightly for not inviting you to be on that. Like he said, I wish you had been on. I wish you had invited him, because Scottay, I don't think you missed too many appointments, brother. Anyway,
I don't.
peace.
I try not to. Appreciate it. I try not to miss 2 appointments. Listen, man, I want to apologize to my guy B Watts, man. He invited me to his show. He does a Colorado show on Sunday. I forgot my nephew had a birthday party and I missed the invitation. So I want to say it publicly. I apologize, B Watts. That is not like me. I usually do not miss appointments. But the issue was I didn't tell my wife. My wife is my ultimate reminder, right? So like I usually, any appointment that I have, I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, babe, remind me, da-da-da-da-da. And then so she's my ultimate reminder. And then she'd be like, don't you have something to do? I'm like, oh, yeah, da-da-da. But I didn't tell my wife, so it fell through the cracks. So B Watts, I apologize. I gotta forget. I don't know who that is. But yeah. So anyway, now let me get to this FAMU schedule real quick. I'm gonna bring it up because he brought it up. Let me say this. This is listen. I'll say this. If Willie Simmons was here, it's undefeated. Listen to me when I tell you. I'm gonna say this for all the people in the back. If Willie Simmons was still at FAMU, this is an undefeated schedule right here. Not even, no question. I don't care about the Jackson game. I don't care about none of the games. I don't care about none of the games. This is an undefeated schedule, hands down. They beat FAU. They beat Albany. They run through everybody. It's not even a question, right? But you got Cozy.
Oh, goddamn.
You got Cozy, all right?
Now that's how you supposed to drive.
That is just gonna be. It's just gonna be that thing. It's not going to go as. Listen, a lot of these big games are at Tallahassee, so you can't lose these games. Like the Bama State's at Tallahassee, the NCCU game's at Tallahassee, the Alcorn State game's at Tallahassee, the Jackson State game is at Tallahassee. Like all these games, all these kids. I mean, all these games are at Tallahassee. You can't lose them, right? So it's tough. Now, overall, let me say this. All I'm gonna say is this. First of all, this Howard schedule is crazy. Yeah, this is gonna get ugly. This could get ugly really quick, right? You could lose the FAM, you could lose the Temple, you beat Morehouse, you could lose the Hampton, you gonna lose the Richmond. You could lose a Sacred Heart. So in your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in your first 6 games, you could win 1 game, maybe 2, and that's against Sacred Heart or Hampton, maybe, right? You beat Tennessee State, and then you got the conference. Ooh, and Hampton's in a rebuild too. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You can't. Yeah, I agree with Eric on that one. Like, and Hampton's in a rebuild. Yeah, you can't do that. So again, overall, I like where the MEAC's at, but I like where the MEAC's at because I think the talent and the coaching has all elevated. And I think there's gonna be I think there's gonna be a lot of shockers this year. I really do. Like everything in me, I still think NCCU is the standard. I still think NCCU is the standard, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina State. I wouldn't be surprised if Norfolk, Dale State, like Morgan. I'm just not. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just I don't see it. I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't know why. I just don't see it. They can surprise me. They can shock me. They can shock the world. But as of right now, I just don't see it when it comes to. But what I do see is I see 2 wins for NCAT. Maybe 3. 3 is the ceiling. Somebody said some 6 games. Sit y'all ass up. NCAT 3 wins. Ceiling 3. You know what I'm saying? So let's not play this game. But listen, I'm about to get up out of here, man. I ain't about to mess with y'all no more, man. Listen, shout out to HBCU Nightly. Make sure y'all go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe. The link of the episode is in the description below. Make sure you guys go ahead and tune into that. Check that out. If you're watching me on Twitter, take y'all ass over to HBCU Nightly. Go ahead and subscribe and go watch the episode as well. And take y'all ass over to OffScript, subscribe, and become a member as well. Listen, as the season get closer, I'm telling you right now, if you're not a member of the chat gonna get real limiting. All right, real limited. All right, make sure you become a member. As the season gets closer, the chat's gonna get more and more limited because I leave that open to my members only for the football season. All right, listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'ma holla. God bless.